Hey guys, what's going on, dudes? It is David here. We are back with another video. Now, in this video, guys, we'll be talking about the NFL season. Now, when it comes to the NFL season, we'll be previewing this weekend's NFL schedule. Now, before I get into it, only two teams are on a bye this week. That is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Carolina Panthers. So, two division teams are on break. So that means we have 15 NFL games going on this weekend. And of course, when it comes to the teams that are on buys are kind of like shortening up because we're getting down to the end of the season. This is going to be week 13, I want to say. Yeah, week 13 going to NFL season. So we only have three to 4 weeks left in the NFL season. And the playoff picture is going to get really, really interesting when it comes to this because there are still a lot of teams that are outside shot of making the playoffs. And you know what's the funny thing? I would actually include, I take a look at my team's record 4-7 and then Tampa Bay's record. I don't really know. It all depends on what happens next weekend when Atlanta Falcons actually go on and play. Wait, actually no. They play the Chargers, then they play Tampa Bay, then they play the Chiefs, then they play Tampa Bay again. So we'll have to see when it comes to that. But when it comes to NFL Week 13, I wouldn't say a lot of big games are happening this weekend, but there are games that could change a lot of things going into the way the draft order, the way the playoff picture is. But without any further ado, let's get into the NFL games that are going to be happening for this week. So the first game we're going to be talking about for Week 13 in the NFL is going to be the Bengals at the Dolphins. This would have been a very, very exciting game if it didn't miss one thing, and that is Joe Burrow being out for the rest of the season. That's due down to the way the Bengals were playing Joe Burrow. They were just basically throwing Joe Burrow out there without barely any protection because the offensive line is pretty crap. I mean, the Dolphins' offensive line is pretty crap, but Ryan Fitzpatrick has been playing amazing. Tua Tagovailoa played really, really good in 2 games that he's played so far in this season. I don't really think they're going to start Tua, because there's no point of really starting Tua against the Cincinnati Bengals without Joe Burrow. The Cincinnati Bengals are 2-8-1, and right now they're probably going to have a top 5 pick, and they'll probably take offensive tackle and Penei Sewell. But yeah, considering Joe Burrow won't be back for the rest of the season, I don't really see the Bengals winning any of their remaining games that they have, unless one of the games is against the Jets or the Jaguars. Then that's a different story. But in this instance, the Bengals will be visiting the Dolphins, and the Bengals will be losing to the Dolphins by a score of 28-14. Next game, we have the Raiders at the 0-11 Jets. The Raiders are 6-5. The Raiders are coming off a bad loss, a blowout loss against my favorite team, the Atlanta Falcons, this past week. While the Jets are coming off another loss against the Miami Dolphins, where they only scored 3 points, the least amount of points they've ever scored against the Dolphins in the past 10 years. But this is the thing, Jets fans. I'm gonna say this: the Jets won't go 0-16. They're not going to be like the Browns. They're not going to be like Detroit. The 2008, is it 2008? Yeah, 2008 Detroit Lions, where they went 0-16. The Jets are going to get a win. It's not gonna come against a team that they're playing in their division. I'm gonna say the Jets are going to surprise everyone, and the Jets are going to actually beat the 6-5 Raiders. And the Jets are going to get their first win of the season. Now, they're not going to do it in a blowout fashion like my team did last week. They're going to get the win by a score of 3. They're going to get a win by 3 points. It's going to come down to a field goal. I wouldn't say last-second field goal, but I feel like it's going to come down to a field goal score. And the Jets are going to beat the Raiders at home by a score of 20-17. Jaguars, Vikings. The 1-10 Jaguars, who I really actually do think will have the #1 pick, because I feel like the Jets will actually pick up a win or two. The Jaguars are not going to win for the rest of the season. Like, Gardner Minshew has been, he's been worse than okay. I can't say he's been playing terrible, but the fact that he got benched just tells you that the Vikings are 5-6. They're going to beat the Jaguars in this sense. They're going to beat the Jaguars by a score of 28-6. Colts at Texans, division game. 7-4 Colts versus the 4-7 Texans. The Texans have been playing really good in the past couple of weeks. Who they beat last week? Jeez. I completely forgot who they beat last week. I think it was the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know the Colts lost against Green Bay, but so when it comes to this division game with the Colts facing the Texans at the Houston Texans, and the Texans have been playing really, really good, even though the Colts did lose against a very good team in Green Bay last week. it's gonna be a close game, but the Colts are gonna beat the Texans in this one. They're gonna continue. They're gonna go on to 8-4, and they're gonna beat the Texans by a score of 31-28. 8-3 Browns versus 8-3 Titans. This is gonna come down to one thing: can Derrick Henry continue his MVP performance? Because this guy has been absolutely amazing. He's leading the NFL in rushing yards. And if the Browns can stop Derrick Henry, the Browns can definitely win this game. But I don't think that's going to happen. And I feel like the Titans are going to beat the Browns by a score of 31-14 and move on to 9-3. 4-7 Lions against the 5-6 Bears. The Lions have fired their coach and fired their GM, so most likely this could be Matthew Stafford's last season as a Detroit Lion. So if I was Matthew Stafford, I would try and go out and play out of my mind for the last few games of what could possibly be his Detroit Lions career. So this is why the Detroit Lions are going to end up beating the Chicago Bears by a score of 17-14, another field goal game. But then we move on to 7-4 Rams versus 6-5 Cardinals, probably the biggest game of the week. Rams versus Cardinals. The Cardinals have not been playing good since they beat the Buffalo Bills with that last-second catch. The Rams defense has been playing really, really good. But in this instance, I'm gonna give the Cardinals the win. The Cardinals are gonna beat the Rams by a score of 24-21. So another field goal game. There's gonna be a lot of close games going on this week. But what's not gonna be a close game? Giants versus Seahawks. As you guys know, Daniel Jones pulled his hamstring, so he will not be playing this game against the Seahawks, against Russell Wilson. And with that defense going against the Giants offense, it's going to be quite embarrassing. And I feel like the Giants, even though they're 4-7, they're going to lose their foothold on this NFC East division. And the Seahawks are going to move on to 9-3 by a score of 38-6. So it's going to be a blowout, really. And I don't really see the Giants scoring that many points with Daniel Jones being out. Then we move on to another Giants division team. We have the Philadelphia Eagles against the Green Bay Packers. Now, if Carson Wentz can pick up his form a little bit, the Eagles have an outside shot of winning this game against the Green Bay Packers. The Eagles are 3-7-1, and they're going to be facing Packers who are 8-3. So two 8-3 teams are going to be playing against the NFC East. The Packers are going to win this game, but not by a big score. The Packers are going to win this game by a score of 24-14, because even with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams playing really good, the Packers haven't been scoring like more than 30 points in the past couple games. And that's just really, really weird to see, because with that offense, you would think the Packers would be scoring a lot more points with Aaron Jones, with Aaron Rodgers, and with Devontae Adams, you think they'd be scoring plus 30 points in at least most of their games this season, but that hasn't been happening. 5-6 Patriots against the 3-8 Chargers at the Chargers. The Chargers just can't seem to put things in perspective. They can't seem to close out the game. They can't seem to have a good game plan. Last week they lost against the Buffalo Bills, and I watched that game. I was just really wondering what is going on with the Los Angeles Chargers. They're not going to win this game. The Patriots are going to win this game and move on to 6-6, which means Bill Belichick will have a 500 record, and Bill Belichick will probably finish the season with over 500, which is going to be very, very impressive considering the way the Patriots started out this season with Cam Newton being out, Cam Newton playing bad. But Cam Newton's been picking up his performance the past couple of weeks, so we'll have to see. But they're going to beat the Los Angeles Chargers by a score of 28-21. My team now, Saints at Falcons. 9-2 Saints, the conference leaders, the NFC conference leaders, against the Falcons, who are 4-7. I told you the Falcons would be winning one and losing one against the Saints. We lost the one at the Saints, and we're going to win this one at the Falcons. We're going to win against the Saints by a score of 22-17, so it's going to be a 5-point game, and we'll move on to 5-7 and knock the Saints down to 9-3. Broncos, 4-7 Broncos versus the 10-1 Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to win this game. The Broncos are having a big problem when it comes to the quarterback issue. They couldn't even start a quarterback in the last game, and they ended up losing that game. So this one, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to beat the Denver Broncos by a score of 28-14. It's going to be a 14-point game, and Kansas City Chiefs move on to 11-1 and stay one game behind the conference leaders in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Speaking of the Pittsburgh Steelers, they're going to be playing Washington at the Steelers. And really, is this Washington defense going to be good enough to stop the Steelers? Not really. The Washington based off of what's going to be happening, Washington's going to be leading the NFC East after this game. The Washington football team is going to stay at 5 and well, they're going to actually finish 4. They're going to go to 4-8, 4-8. While the Steelers are going to move to 12-0, and the Steelers are going to win this game by a score of 38-7. 8-3 Bills versus the 5-6 49ers. 49ers surprised everyone this past week when they beat the Los Angeles Rams. Even though Sean McVay doesn't really have a good record when it comes to being against the San Francisco 49ers. But considering that the Bills have, I think when it comes to the Bills playing against the NFC West, the Bills lost against Arizona Cardinals, I think, and I don't think they played the Rams. Or I know they played the Seahawks, and that was a really good game. But I don't think they played the Rams yet. They eventually will play the Rams. But in this instance, I'm going to give the Bills the win against the 49ers by a score of 35-13. And then the final game of the week is going to be a Monday night game. It's going to be Cowboys versus Ravens. And if the Cowboys can stop Lamar Jackson, the Cowboys got a good shot at winning this game, but I don't really think that's going to happen. The 3-8 Cowboys are going to move to 3-9, and the Baltimore Ravens, who are 6-5, are going to move to 7-5 and continue with their hopes of making the playoffs. But it's going to be really, really tough. But the Baltimore Ravens are going to win this game by a score of 29-10. So let me talk about the playoff picture going on situation and how things can change based off the predictions I really made. So right now in the AFC playoff picture, we got the Colts at the Chiefs, 7-2, Miami at Titans, Browns at Bills. If you want me to predict these games when it comes to each and every game, the Steelers obviously have the bye because the Steelers are the only undefeated team in the AFC. Colts at Chiefs win that game. Miami at Titans will win that game. Browns at Bills will win that game. And we'll see. I don't really know how it will go next week, but we'll have to see that. I think the Steelers will end up playing the Bills, and the Chiefs will end up playing the Titans. That would actually be a really interesting game. Derrick Henry against Patrick Mahomes. And in the NFC, Saints get the bye. Arizona at Seattle. Seattle will win that game. Tampa Bay, Green Bay will win that game. I know Skip and Shannon would definitely love to see that game because that'd be Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady, and I feel like Aaron Rodgers will win that game. And the Rams at the Giants. The Rams will win that game because the NFC at least gets a home playoff game, but the Rams will definitely win that game. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Please do smash the like button. I'll be posting more sports content for you guys to see in the coming days. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on bell notifications so I know when my videos go live. But anyway, guys, I will see you guys all later.